It was late, the kind of late where the world outside your window goes completely silent. I was in my room, kneeling on the old prayer rug my grandfather had given me. The only light came from a single lamp in the corner, casting a soft, warm glow that barely pushed back the darkness. As I began my evening prayers, a sense of peace settled over me, a familiar comfort in the quiet ritual. My shadow stretched long and thin across the floorboards, a dark twin mimicking my every move. I bowed my head, my voice a low murmur in the stillness of the room. It was a routine I'd followed for years, a moment of connection that anchored my day. But tonight, something felt off. A flicker in my peripheral vision, a subtle shift in the atmosphere. I tried to ignore it, focusing on the words, on the rhythm of my breathing. I rose slightly, preparing for the next part of the prayer, and my shadow rose with me. But then I saw it. It wasn't just my shadow on the floor anymore. Beside it, another shadow had appeared, just as tall, just as defined. It was kneeling. Who's das? Primera hua. A chill, sharp and sudden, snaked up my spine. I was alone in the house. I knew I was. There was no one else here. My heart started to pound against my ribs, a frantic drumbeat against the silence. I told myself it was a trick of the light, the single lamp creating a strange optical illusion. Maybe a piece of furniture was casting a second, distorted shadow that just happened to look human. I tried to steady my nerves, to dismiss the fear coiling in my stomach. I was just tired, my mind playing tricks on me. I continued with my prayer, my voice now trembling slightly. I bowed forward again, touching my forehead to the rug. My shadow followed suit, a perfect, dark reflection. But the other shadow, it didn't. It moved, yes, but not with me. It bent backward, arching in the opposite direction, away from the wall I was facing. It was like it was praying too, but to something behind me. Something in the darkness of the room. My breath caught in my throat. This wasn't a trick of the light. This was wrong. Terribly wrong. Shadows are supposed to follow the object that casts them. They are supposed to mimic, not defy. This shadow was an impostor, a dark mockery of my devotion. Its posture was an act of blasphemy, a mirror image of reverence turned into something else. Worshipping what? The empty space. The encroaching dark. I was frozen, kneeling on the rug, my prayer forgotten. All I could do was stare at the two figures on the floor, my own, shadow small and submissive, and this other one, this defiant silhouette contorting itself into an unnatural pose of worship. It was like watching a silent, terrifying play unfold. The air grew heavy, thick with a presence I couldn't see but could feel with every fiber of my being. I wanted to scream, to run, to turn on every light in the house, but I couldn't move. My limbs felt like lead. My gaze was locked on that horrifying shape. It seemed to grow darker, more solid, as if it was drawing all the light in the room into itself. The silence was no longer peaceful. It was predatory, waiting. Slowly, I forced myself to rise. My legs shook, but I got to my feet. I had to see what was casting the shadow. Primerade, to know my shadow rose with me, a loyal companion. The other shadow, however, remained on the floor, still bent backward in its silent, horrifying prayer. It didn't move. It was as if, wherever cast, it was no longer there, leaving only its blasphemous imprint behind. Primera basket away step by agonizing step, my eyes never leaving the floor. I fumbled for the main light switch on the wall, my fingers clumsy with fear. I flicked it on, flooding the room with bright, sterile light, and just like that, both shadows vanished. The floor was just old wood. The room was just a room. Empty. Silent. I stood there, panting, my heart feeling like it was going to burst. The room was bright, but I've never felt so surrounded by darkness. I haven't prayed in that room since. Sometimes, late at night, I think I can still see it from the corner of my eye. A fleeting shape in the dark, forever bent the wrong way. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like and subscribe for more. Stay safe. Stay safe.